welcome back to another Bitcast. I'm back at it again with Zach. What's going on, Zach?
Hey man, happy early New Year.
I know, right? So, Zach, I don't know about you, but the last 2 days have been a movie frenzy for me. I've
Mm,
seen 5 movies in the last 2 days,
that's close to what I've seen.
which is pretty hard for me the last couple days to do. I mean, though, it's been hard lately to do that, so that's a feat for me. What have you seen lately?
All right. I've seen Maestro, Past Lives, which was extremely well done.
That's another one I gotta
Um, Man, it's starting to blur together. I
see.
saw the new Nick Cage movie about what was it
They dream
Dream
about him.
something, huh?
Where they dream about him.
Yes, that was good. Um, there's a couple others. They'll come to mind though. How about you?
I have seen one. I saw that stupid 365-day movie you told me about.
I love it.
I don't recommend.
I recommend it.
um. What was that other one I saw yesterday? Oh yeah, I saw The Killer.
Yeah,
Great
good
movie.
one.
I am a Fincher fan. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Today I saw Leave the World Behind, and I also saw Iron Claw. Why did I say 5 movies? Did I see 5 movies? No, I've only seen
You,
4.
you know what? I think I want your opinion. Let's just
Oh
get
no, no, I
into
did
it.
see 5. I did see 5. I saw Elemental, the Disney movie.
Oh, okay, it's not too bad. I want to get into it. What do you think of Leave the World Behind with Ethan Hawke and Julia
Oof,
Roberts?
we getting into it early. All right. Man, so first off, written and directed by my boy Sam Esmail. I love his stuff, and it was very Mr. Robot esque. There was also some stuff in there to call back to his show, like
The
their
Obamas
laptops
produced it
for E
too.
Corp. Hmm?
The Obamas produced it too.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so Leave the World Behind was heavy, bro. Heavy, heavy. So today was my heavy day, movie wise, because I saw Iron Claw. Um, that's the wrestling movie, the biopic based on the
Zac
Von
Efron.
Erich family. Um, Written and directed by a guy named Sam Durkin. Not too familiar with him, but bro, that's a heavy movie, man. Like when I say it's heavy, bro, it's heavy, but it's very well done. It's very good. The brunt of the movie is focused on the second oldest brother, Kevin Von Erich, played by Zach Efron, and he killed it. I think he killed the role. The movie's great, man. It's one of those like very driven families set on one path by the one tyrannical father. But the movie was a good way of showing how yes, the
Don't say too
father is
much
just
about it. I want to have my own. I don't want to go in with certain expectations. I do want to see it.
okay.
It's
So
on
I'll
my
keep it
list.
vague. I'll keep it vague. I'll just say that it's not like the movie's trying to say this was a bad father. Like his sons love him. Like they show how they love him. They love each other. They love their mom. Like they really love the family aspect. And I mean, sometimes you see how they love him, but how flawed his way of parenting is because when they need him, it's like he's not present, and so things ensue. I'm not too familiar with the Von Erich family. I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling growing up, so the only person I knew in there was Ric Flair. That's the only guy I knew in there.
Bro,
But yo,
it's
it's
very influential, dude, in terms of like that whole family. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't wait. Especially, I've seen a lot of good movies. I
hmm
saw Rebel Moon as well finally the other day. And I
hmm
guess kind of piggyback from what you said last week. That we could get into something else. It was entertaining, but it was forgettable.
Very true.
I
Very
forgot I
true.
even saw it until I thought about it. You know, like it's cool, it's fun, but you know, it's so. What am I supposed to take away with this? None of the characters you feel connected to. There's no like this the plot's like there, but because there's no character development, I don't even know any of the names of the characters or remember them. What am I supposed to leave away with this?
I remember two guys' names, Tarek and General Titus,
Yes, I remember Titus.
by Jaimin Hansu. The famous Jaimin Hansu played Titus.
I love him, but
Um,
it's like I don't think it's the actor's fault. Like you said, it's definitely writing. It's just so vanilla, and I feel like they're just rushing to get to the penultimate battle versus doing the
doing the
development to like
groundwork to lead
characters.
up to it, right?
Yeah, it's like all right, so they go from character to character to recruit them. Each character has their own little
Literally.
mini battle or something. They do that and they go to the next one. It
Yeah.
feels very video game like in terms of like recruitment, and it's not very.
Like I said, it's like a video game, like Mass Effect without all the character building. It's literally like, let's go pick up this guy. He does a cool thing. All right, let's pick up this guy. He does a cool thing.
At
All right,
least
let's...
with Mass Effect, you can there's development along the way. You know, like,
yeah.
and I feel like none of the characters like when they agree to like fight the Empire, it's like why? What skin do you have in the game other than that they're bad? Like what happened to you that made it so and it was just it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it was entertaining, but it was just so it was distracting about how the dialogue and the character development was so bad. Like it's just okay. The action was cool, you know, but
So
that's pretty much it.
I got a question. Correction: Iron Claw was written and directed by Sean Durkin, not Sam Durkin. But how do you feel as Sophia Butella as the leading lady, Cora?
She's boring.
Do you think that was because of her or the script or both?
I see how she tried to make it hardcore because when she was recollecting her days when she was a trainee and she had her own thing, like she tried, but I think she's trying so hard to like be this like kick ass female like lead that there's a lot of overcompensation for that. And it's not fleshing out like the character as a whole. Like, all right, she intervenes with this squad of soldiers who is about to presumably assault this woman, right? And she kills all of them in this barn or whatever it is. And it's, I don't know, it's just nothing about her is like gripping. It almost feels like Jennifer Lawrence's character in Hunger Games. You know what I mean? Where it was just like it wasn't compelling for me to really pay attention.
So, so yeah, I kind of agree. Like, and it might not just be her issue; it might be all the characters' issues.
Yeah,
But
see what it's seen with Charlie Hunnam do. Like he's a great actor, and I'm like, first
I
off,
was like,
why does he
first of
have
all,
an
what
Irish
accent is
accent?
this? Yeah, like at first, like sometimes it sounded Irish, sometimes it was like
But he's
something else.
British. Just use his British accent. Like, why does he have to do a bad Irish accent? I mean,
And then I'm like, why are we doing this? Because then he's gonna have to explain his accent. And then I saw an article that was like, Charlie Hunnam explains his Rebel Moon accent. I'm like, oh, I'm so sick of stuff like this. Like they do it all the time with Tom Hardy and
he
stuff like
tried to
that.
be like Benicio del Toro's character in Episode 8.
Oh, the one I
You
forgot
know what I'm
about.
talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I mean, it makes. I mean, he was fine, but it was like,
Mhm.
why do we have this character in here for literally 15 minutes? It's like it doesn't
Literally.
change anything.
Well, there's a lot of things about episode 8 that we're like, why is this here? But yeah, the movie as a whole, I mean, it's going to look pretty because it's
It
Zack
is pretty.
Snyder.
Lots
He
of slow
knows
action, slow motion.
that's his staple. It's like Dave Chappelle joked about in his show. Everything looks cool when it's in slow mo. But I like
I- Like Ray
I'm
Fisher's character had lots of slow mo.
yes.
You know what I
I'm
mean? I'm
wondering
like,
though, like
okay.
the issues you're talking about with Sophia Botella. I'm wondering if it's because like are we as an audience getting numb to these just by the books kick assery female protagonists, or is it just because this one every single character was paper thin?
I think it's a little bit of both, but how many of them are truly written good? I feel like they have to. They try to follow the same template as like the 80s action heroes, like what Sly and Arnold did, but they were so cool and they were already established as action. Like it makes sense even if the parts were bad, but she doesn't have that to fall off on.
See, I agree, and it's not just this movie. It's a lot of Hollywood movies lately that do that. And this movie, Rebel Moons, feels so much like an '80s movie. Like I would have thought, like Queen or Van Halen would have. I think we talked about this last time. Would have
Yeah,
been the
you talk about
soundtrack,
the music. Yeah, the
and
soundtrack was fine. It was just not. It wasn't. It
it
was
was
too
like by the
grand for what
books.
was going on. There wasn't a lot of.
No,
It wasn't that type of large scale action to call for a opera type of thing. You know what I mean?
it was like a by the books like soundtrack to me. But this movie, I don't know, like you mentioned Arnold and Sylvester Stallone in the '80s. The thing about Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, no matter what role they played, they had a lot of personality. Like Arnold has a lot of personality.
So Sly,
Sly has a lot of
yeah,
personality. No matter, and Sly and like, well, Sly especially can act. So it's like, you give them a small sliver, they're gonna create a personality out of that. They're gonna flaunt it. I mean, look at Predator, man. Like, it's nothing but muscle bound dudes, but every single one of those characters, even though they don't have a lot of screen time, are memorable. Like, you remember these guys to the point that when the predator kills him, you're like, oh damn, why he kill that guy, man? Like he was cool, like, but like Rebel Moon, and again, I'm a Zack Snyder fan. I'm not trying to knock it, but all these characters are so paper thin. They're like an archetype of a character to where they're
yeah,
just
dude.
like,
It's like AI wrote it, and I was like, give me the most generic, basic action hero for these type of character traits,
yes,
please.
just give me a
And
guy or a girl that looks like an action figure and put them on screen, have them do
yeah,
something cool,
I mean,
and that's like every character.
but you're right. It's kind of going in like all sorts of places. At least it's believable for her. It's not like what's her name in Star Wars?
Right.
Ray. Yeah, she's not believable being a Jedi. You know.
Exactly. Like Sophia Botella, she looks the part, right? And her character goes through fire. I mean, it's called Part One, A Child of Fire. They don't really specify why, but if you look at her character, she's gone through the fire. Like her whole planet was in embers, and then she's adopted and trained to be one of these people. She's on the opposite side for most of her life, and she's trained to kill. She becomes one of the best generals, and then she goes down a different path. But yeah, like you believe it. Like she had to work to where she got. She had to survive. Like you believe it. Whereas Ray was born exceptional because the Force is female. So that's why. Like, but yeah, like Rebel Moon, um, all day today. Maybe it's because it's Friday, but all day today, I'm getting these like article alerts about how his rated R director's cut is better and da da da. You know, um, at this point in my life, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of all these directors having different cuts. Like, just give me one good
Give me the
cut.
Peter Jackson 8-day cut for Lord of the
Yes.
Rings.
And to me, honestly, I don't understand why Netflix wouldn't go with his cut
Right, who
because you're
cares?
a
It's
streaming
streaming. You can
platform.
watch it whenever you want. The
You're a
Snyder cut was
streaming
so well.
platform.
It was such a hit. People can watch 4 hours if they're willing to. Like it's okay. You can break it up. Each part, it's broken into parts. Like you can pause at each part. It's not that big of a deal.
The man released a Snyder cut that was 4 hours, and everybody watched it. So there's no excuse for it. If Netflix was smart, I thought they would have released his cut first, and then if they wanted to appeal to a broader audience, he would like,
Just do a
here's the
theatrical release type
streamline.
of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like they. I know it had like a small theater release or something like that. Maybe it did. You could have just put that one in the theaters, and then Netflix subscribers only. get the metal Zack Snyder cut with 40 minutes of more footage and action and story. And I'm like, those 40 minutes
Is there a
better
lot
be
more
about the
blood?
characters, you
Because
know?
I don't want to talk about this like forever, like because it's just it is what it is. It's a forgettable movie, but
Very true.
it's hopefully the next one's better. That's all I'll say. Like I like you said before, it's how many people under these guys who are really good at making the basis for the movie. Like they're really good making a movie, but when it comes to like the writing, the guts of it, not everyone's gifted in that, and that's okay. And I feel like as long as you do what you're good at versus trying to just do everything, you know, you'll make it more enjoyable. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, to close it out, all people like Zack Snyder, all they got to do is build the world and then give it to a very good screenwriter. That's all you
It's
got
not
to
that
do.
hard. Just give it. I mean, it's so much work as it is, and then you can concentrate on all of the, the
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 cool
post
shots.
filming stuff,
Yeah.
post production. Like, there's a lot of things that go involved that he continues to do
Right.
after everything's done being filmed. You know what I mean? That's a lot of work. I think that's more work than putting it all together and just filming it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
man.
but
But like you
what
said,
do
you
you?
don't want to
So I'm
harp on it
curious
too
on
much.
your Leave the World Behind. I want some take on this because I watched this too a couple weeks ago,
First of all,
and
I liked it. But go
oh,
ahead, you were
all
going to
right,
say.
we have two different opinions.
You didn't like it.
It's okay, but I don't like the American hating like aspect part of it. You know what I mean? I just
Is it
didn't.
wrong?
Um,
Wait, wait, wait.
yes.
Wait, wait. In what way do you mean?
Well, in what way? Like we were the ones picking enemies, and we're the reason why. Like how America's interest is why the contracting companies attacked the U.S. and the
Oh,
daughter
no, no,
of
no, no.
of
Oh,
her
never mind.
of the protagonist is just. I'm like, why do we have to go there with that? You know what I mean?
I think it was like that because specifically you're talking about Ali's daughter in the movie, right?
Yes,
I think it was like a lens to show how America's youth is
that
nowadays.
too. I agree with, even
Um
though it's wrong.
because because I was watching a clip of the Joe Rogan show and he was talking about how you know how Joe Rogan likes to go on conspiracies and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. He was talking about how he heard about the Russian, or I think it was a Russian conspiracy to divide a country. You all you have to do is attack the youth with their institutions, namely colleges. You go there and you teach them how your government is wrong and this, that, and the third. And he said, now we're seeing the
Well,
result of the
China's
Cold
done that
War.
with TikTok
Yeah, yeah, still doing it,
specifically.
still doing
Still doing it. Like, no, China
it. Like
created
this isn't a
programs specific.
conspiracy; it's
No,
been
this is true.
confirmed.
They ByteDance is an
It's been
algorithm
confirmed.
so you can see certain videos. It's proven like if you're a certain demographic, certain age group, certain gender, whatever it is, you're going to see
Certain
different
region.
videos more often than others. Like Wall Street Journal did an insane piece like not that long ago, Instagram and TikTok, where they were undercover as a teenage boy, and they had way more, and then they had their own personal profiles, right?
Hmm.
Instances of like suicide being discussed, encouraged, things like that were so much higher in teenagers than it was like adults. And that's just an example of many where this stuff is manipulated to make you see things a certain way, right? And
Hmm.
I understand what you're saying with the movie, where like it's a reflection of the youth and how buzzwords and buzz phrases can kind of go there. And especially her family's rich, like she does not understand anything that she's spouting.
Thank you. And
You know what I mean?
not just her. There's like what, five main characters in this movie or four,
Yeah,
and I felt like it was
yeah.
a reflection of different personalities, right? You know, like you got the one daughter, the youngest daughter of Julia Roberts, who's just consumed by content. She can't function without it, to the point like she's freaking out, like she's waking up her mom in the middle of the night, like, "Can you fix the Wi-Fi?" Da, da, da. The son, who's just sexually
Normal
charged every
teenager.
second,
Yeah,
like
he's a
all
normal
he's doing
teenage
is looking
boy.
for the next piece of ass. It's the end of the world, and he's like, "Oh, I need some math." Like, he's taking a picture of the chick, um, like the dad who was like Ethan Hawke, who's like, he's like, "Let's calm down and figure something out," as opposed to his wife, who's opposite, who's just like, "Figure this out, do something." You
Yeah, she
gotta.
definitely runs the marriage. He's
And
the
she even
Vader for
admits it
sure.
at one time in the movie, as a joke.
No, I just wanted to clarify. It's just like I don't know. I think there's just more things coming out where you have this. Like Kevin Bacon's like character, for example, right? It's like we kind of like asked for is based on us doing this. I just I don't know. Like that insinuates a lot of things, and to me, it's like I don't think that's necessarily true, but the reason why I have an issue with it is because you have a former president, first lady who's producing something like this, and they had such hands-on type of I guess help with this type of thing, where hey, this is the type of thing that can happen, and it made it as realistic as possible. I mean, we talked about this last week or a couple weeks ago too. Like, I feel like world events are kind of inspired by movies and music and stuff, and this is just a script of something that's to come.
I think so as well. It's kind of airy to have this movie come out, and then not too long in the future, Civil War is going to come out by A24,
Yeah, like
and
what is? Come on, like seriously, like right now, given how everything is, why? Why are we doing this?
maybe it's to warn the public. You know,
Or could it incite things too?
I mean,
Content has just as much of a play in terms of making people feel a certain way that may or may not exist versus anything else. Like, look, 5 years ago, you couldn't even have you could have like a normal civil discourse. You can agree to disagree. Me and you can have different opinions. We can explain each other's viewpoints and listen and not get triggered and attack each other. That's virtually impossible now. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with this idea of our cultures creating division, which is with movies and TV shows and social media and stuff. You know what I mean? So even if we are not close to a civil war, you watch a movie like Civil War, that's going to put a lot of ideas in people's minds. Like, I can see this. You know, that's just me.
well, I think for one, you're giving people too much credit, and two, I
What
feel
for
like
buying
so.
into that?
No, 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 no. I think you're giving people too much credit and thinking that they're actually going to do something. The
I don't think they're going
population
to
as
do
a whole
anything.
is very docile.
Yeah,
Um, people don't even protest anymore. They just go on Twitter and complain, or go on Google reviews and complain. But I mean, I don't think this is going to put anything in anybody's head that already hasn't been there. I've been hearing about homegrown militias since I was a kid. I've seen videos of it. People in their backyards with guns, and I'm not saying it's not a viable thing, because I've seen some of them where they're like legit, training, ex-military, da da da. But I just don't see it, because there's always been films like this, dystopians, warning, um, warning the public about
hmm
themselves, warning about technology, and still we just trug along. We just do the same old thing, this, that, and the third. People were all up in arms about 2012, the movie, right before it came out. And then what do? We still throw away as much trash as we usually do. Even with Avatar, about it's a whole movie about climate change, and people
2012.
still,
Oh, John Cusack, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That end of world. Okay.
You know, um, Damn, my brain is blanking. I forgot the director's name of that movie, but he directs all the end of the world movies.
Day After
And
Tomorrow.
yeah, he
He
did
did
that
that.
too. He did
Was it that Mike?
Independence Day.
I thought Michael Bay did that, but I
No,
guess
no, no,
not.
no, nah. He did Independence Day too. But he keeps making these movies like we. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. But we've had movies like this before, and it still happens. It just feels different now, I think.
Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich, yes, that's my man right there. My wife loves this movie. She loves like disaster movies. Um,
What?
she does.
It's
Like every movie he puts out, she's like, I gotta
what
watch.
kind of
Uh,
move? Like, don't you just think though? Like, look, you're right. We have so much. We have these kind of movies that just come out, but we've been inundated about this for 10 years. Like, if there's a shift when you have so much of it, you start to believe it. You know, it's like we've kind of spoken it into existence, not
well,
because it happened naturally.
I think that's because, you know, one, you and I are older and we understand stuff better. You know, um, two, I think perspective is a very real thing where it's, you create the things you believe, and because we're older and we understand these things now and stuff like that, like I don't think movies are the cause of any division against people. I think podcasting, social media is. We've had movies like this 1,000 times before.
Oh no, no. I don't think it's that. I'm saying it's a piece of a larger thing where you have this stuff just thrown at you over and over and over again, and at some point, I'm not giving people credit in the sense that they're going to go out and do something. I'm giving this like our culture as a whole, which is part of entertainment, everything, right?
Hmm.
Makes you start seeing things a certain way. Like you start absorbing what's in your environment. You know, it's like you are the people you surround yourself with. If you
Hmm.
continue putting yourself in this, you know, you watch all this stuff and you're around it, and you don't have a original thought in your minds like most people don't. As you can
True.
see, they go with the masses and they consume news and they regurgitate it, right? Like we see
Yeah.
that on a constant basis.
Yep.
This isn't any different. This is just another format of that.
Hmm. I mean, that's true. If anything, I mean, I think this movie would have more impact if it was in theaters instead of Netflix. Um, but
It would.
I think so.
I think it wouldn't because more people have Netflix than go to the movies.
No, no, no. I think it would have more impact because streamers are still considered like below Hollywood in theaters or whatever.
You
You
think?
know, yes, I feel like if this was in theaters, there would be news articles about it. Like there would be people on the news talking about movie is coming out in theaters and it's about da 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 how America is asking for it. Like I think this would have been a lot bigger if it wasn't on a streamer. It would have been very interesting to see what's going on. Like we just talked about Civil War's coming out soon. I am very interested to see
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna see
public
it.
reception
Yeah, I
when it
want to see
comes
it too.
out.
Yeah.
I want to see what the news articles will be because I guarantee you it's going to get more press because it's coming out in theaters and it's an A24 film, so it's going to be done well. All right, and Alex Garland is writing, and directing this, bro. It's a
You
wrap.
don't see the thing is when it comes to these movies, right? Like this is right around primary time, you know,
Hmm.
like election, all that stuff. So that's not by accident.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It's going to impact someone more versus something on the off season. You know what I mean? Where there's nothing at stake. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 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 for sure, and
I'm not trying to create like some kind of doomsday scenario where like our movies and all that. I'm just saying this is just a piece of a lot of different things where I you see something like this and then someone in your nightly news like thing on Fox, CNN, whatever it is talks about it too, and it reinforces whatever fear you have in your mind. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then you naturally
yeah,
start like it's a slow gradual thing. Like this is not an instantaneous thing, right? There's a
hmm,
lot of it's like boxing. It's like you get a lot of punches and over time you start to feel it and you think, right? And you
hmm,
just like start to wonder, and then that's how it happens, right? Like
hmm. Yeah, I feel you on that. And like I said, if if this wasn't on, if Leave the World Behind wasn't on Netflix and it was in theaters, I think we would be hearing reporters talk about this on news stations like you were talking about. And I'm sure Civil War will have that effect when it comes out in April of next year. But I mean, I feel you on that, because there's always humans are good about this. Like, well, maybe not humans, maybe it's an American thing. I don't know, but we're very good at like Nah, that can never happen to us. And because we think like that, it doesn't happen unless something
Yeah,
very drastic happens.
yeah,
You
it's true.
know, like our disbelief is like our first self defense. Like we won't believe something until we see it because it's too scary to, to even think about it or bring it. So we'll deny it to the point like never underestimate denial because it denial will keep anybody inactive. It will keep people from, you know, doing what they need to do or doing what they know they should do. So I'm not saying anything should happen. I'm just
Interesting.
saying, you
Yeah.
know, I don't think anything's going to come of it. I just think it's going to bring up conversations. And I hope it brings up the conversations where it's like, look, man, we are way too divided. For what?
For what
Because of these
exactly?
screens?
Self-inflicted, really, truly.
Yeah,
We
we're
have the most. We have a great society. It's like, yes, nothing's perfect. We get that, but all of this like this self-inflection where you think we're like so different, like we're not. It's nuts, and it is what it is. I don't want to get onto that whole thing, but I I see I see like I see what you're talking about, but don't be alarmed if there's more movies like this in the near future.
I won't be, man. I mean, 2000 was primed for movies like this. I can't really think of them. They weren't necessarily like F the country movies. They were more like F the establishment movies, like The Matrix and stuff
Mm-hmm.
around the 2000s. I can't remember movies that came out right now, dad brain. But there was a lot of like F the establishment, F the Matrix, F what they're telling you, question everything,
Yes.
don't believe anyone, don't trust anyone type movies. And they did very well. And then what happened? I mean, everything went back to everybody going back to work, everybody doing the same thing. But yeah, man, I think it's like somebody said, Chris Gore. Look him up online for those who don't know. He's in the movie business. He's very good at reviewing movies. He talks about how we need more like 80s movies. Like we need more like Rocky movies to unite the country, like where Rocky was fighting what's his name? Dolph Lundgren's character, the Russian guy. And we were rooting for USA, bro. Like USA,
That's what I'm saying.
USA.
That's all. Like we need to have some of that again. Like it'll be, but that's not profitable. Like no one cares about that right now. They're just like, oh, it's propaganda. I was like, well, the stuff that you're watching too is also propaganda. It's the same thing. It creates this. It's creating this divide where it wasn't a thing until you made it so. You know,
Hmm.
self fulfilled prophecy.
Yes.
That type of thing. I
Yes, it's like when people tell me, oh, like I'll hear somebody talking about, oh, yo, that's why I'm moving to such and such. I'm like, you're moving to such and such. Like, it's not as good as you think it is, bro. Like
Are
for
you in
example,
Canada?
no, I'm not even thinking of Canada, but I was about to bring up Canada because I used to work with some Canadians, right? So this is a good example. I know Canadians. Like I know a few Canadians. I'm very
Me
friends
too.
with two Canadians who are like my second parents. They'll tell you. Every Canadian I know will tell you it's universal healthcare is not what it's cracked up to be. All right, like you need a simple procedure done, you got to go on a list and you got to wait. You know how many people die? They say over there waiting for simple procedures to be done
Yep. Well,
that get
it's like
done
that
here in
everywhere.
no time. You know,
It's like that
and
everywhere. You pay because I'll make it simple. Like for that, you are not the customer anymore. The government is. The
exactly.
customer is the person who pays, right? So if you're no longer the customer, what's their incentive to create something that's quality and something that's going to be urgent? They don't care,
You
you
can't even
know.
get a second opinion over there.
No, it
Your
is what it is.
diagnosis is your diagnosis.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And there's
Same with
only a
self
list of
defense too.
specialists for certain things. So when you're on the list, you got to wait for that specialist, hit him or her to clear up their schedule to get that done for you. Like that's why so many people from Canada come to America to get simple procedures done, or else they'll die, or it'll get worse, or whatever. So it's not. People hear universal health care and they think it's perfect. It's not. It's human there's nothing perfect done by humans. All right, there's always a caveat at the end of the day. So like that's just one example of people. And there's a place I don't want to get into it, but people glorify it and they move there and then they move right back because they and it's not Canada, and they because they have this like fairy tale idea of it, and
Are you
I'm
talking
like
about New
it's
York?
no no. I'm talking about somewhere out of the country, and they come back to America because of the American way. Because when you grow up an American, what do you have? You have choice, you have abundance. Imagine going somewhere else,
Freedom of speech.
freedom of speech.
That doesn't
Like
exist anywhere else. Literally, it doesn't.
it doesn't.
Hate
It
speech is a
doesn't.
thing everywhere else, and you go to jail. Hate speech is not a thing here. You have the right to be an asshole.
And try being gay somewhere else. Try other than America. Try being non-binary somewhere else. Try being black somewhere else. Like there's
Good
certain
points.
things like certain
Good
things are
points.
glorified. The grass is not always greener. You know, it might look prettier over there, but once you get there and you're like, oh, you're stepping on the ground, you realize the soil's not viable. Like, it's, I try to, I don't know. At the end of the day, you know, I root for America, but we need
We need
more like,
movies like that. No, you're right,
yes,
100%. I
but
completely agree.
leave the world behind doesn't necessarily tell you what's going on. It's not an anti-America. It doesn't tell you if it's anti-America or whatever. It leaves it up in the air. Spoiler alert: there is no spoiler because it doesn't tell you. It just leaves you confused with the characters. It's for you to come up
Except
with
it's
your own
contracting, so
conclusion.
it's themselves, like based on what the computer said, right? Like that was a strike within U.S. forces doing that. So, like, that is an internal conflict. That wasn't an outside militia.
We don't know though, because if you look at the computer, it's really just reporting on what's happening.
Yeah,
We
but
don't know
didn't
where
it
that
say?
frequency is coming.
Didn't it say like? It
It said
didn't
multiple
say.
points of radiation detected
No, but it
near.
was saying forces too, like in like the computer that was in that when they were stuck in that
Yeah, it said like a force. It didn't specify what kind of force, whether it was U.S. homebound or like it was just saying a force was moving in or something like that.
got it. Okay,
So we
I thought
don't
it was
really
like
know.
some kind of like it would. I thought it specified. Maybe I was wrong. It
No,
has been a few weeks since I've seen it.
but it didn't really specify. It just was reporting what was happening, and so it leaves it up in the air. And I understand like some people. I read some quick reviews. I didn't read them all. Some people didn't like how people like cookie cutter endings. So some people gave it a low score because of that. But if you just look at what's on the screen, I thought it was a great movie. I like Sam Esmail's style. I like the story he was telling.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's 2 hours and 12 minutes, or 20 minutes, and it didn't feel like it. Man, it felt like he's really good at building tension every scene and just keeping you engaged. And then I'm like, wait,
He
what?
does do a good job, especially when Michelle Ali's character comes and he's like, "Yeah, this is my house," and they're like, "You sure?" Like that was very fascinating.
Yeah, like the character when Hershey Ali and his daughter come, and it's like Julia Roberts will not believe him
Well, you
whatsoever.
because we didn't know what the premise of this movie was initially, right?
No,
So you didn't know if this guy was like some kind of like killer pretending to be something or what. You know what I mean?
no, and turns out he's just a guy who lives there.
Yeah.
but but and this, not to give too much away, but when the movie affirms, yo, this is this guy's house, it also leaves you like, but he knows more that he's giving off. Like there's a little part where he's just like, and it's like, oh, this guy, there's something else going on with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing is what it seems, and it turns out there's more to him, and he's just and he kept saying certain this certain client, and I'm like, the fact that Michelle Obama and Barack Obama um financed this movie. I'm like, I think I know who they're talking about. But like, well, at first I thought I knew, and then it changed because he said something about the client. I was like, oh, maybe it's this other person.
No, it's
But
a contractor. Anyway, it's
hmm,
a I liked your assessment on it. Did you have a chance to see Maestro at all, or no?
no. So it came down to a choice of seeing Leave the World Behind today or Maestro, and I chose Leave the World Behind because it's older, and I see a lot more people talking about it. So I was like, I gotta check it out because it looks very good.
You'll like Maestro just because of the. So there's this scene where it's like 6 minutes long. I was reading how Bradley Cooper trained 6 years for the conductor scene he did. I was like 6 years for 6 minutes. It's insane to me.
So I got a question about that because um I saw that article too. I didn't read it. Did you read it?
I did.
So you got to break it down to me, man. Why did it take him 6 years? That's a year a minute. 6 years to
Because
Maestro.
it wasn't just learning the music, right? Because that's a long period of time, dude, to figure. He's it's not like he's musically inclined in that sense, right? Like you have
That's
to
what I was
figure.
wondering
Yeah.
because I was like, can he not? Does he have no rhythm? Does he have to learn how to bop to
But
each
then he
beat or
has to
something?
learn how to do it the way he does it,
Hmm.
because that's one of the most like famous conducting scenes for him in general, right? So
Hmm.
like you don't want to mess up on that, because look, he's probably the most influential US composer and conductor ever. Like he
Okay.
was what brought it mainstream and what he brought orchestra like mainstream in the US.
So forgive me because I'm going to sound cynical.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing, well, not I don't know Bradley Cooper, but he seeing some of his interviews and some of the stuff that he does
Mm-hmm.
seems like a very like one of those like artist actors,
He is.
like like
I'll give you an example, right? You've seen American Sniper, right?
oh yeah, love the movie.
Okay, so
We need more movies like that.
he did all of the training
Yeah,
required of him to
yeah, I
do
remember
that. And we're
that.
not talking a few months. It took this guy a year and a half to do all of the combat training for him to shoot like that and all the tactical stuff. So, he is willing to do everything the right way to get it portrayed on the screen.
But Zach, 6 years for 6 minutes. So you're telling me he couldn't put on a video of the guy's name is Leonard Bernstein, right?
Yes.
He couldn't have put on a video of Leonard Bernstein and memorized his every movement within a year. It took him 6 years. You're not going to sit here and tell me this man every day was trying to get a 6 minute thing and it took him 6 years. Like stop the bullshit. Like come on with this artist actor stuff. Like stop the bull. It's like when Ben Stiller said like he was talking
So
to some
he
of his
didn't
actor
learn
friends.
how to just do that scene. He learned how to do it in general. So he can go ahead and conduct an orchestra if he wants. You get what I'm saying? So he knew exactly what he meant by when he was conducting, like what all of those movements. I'm not a conductor, I don't know. What all those movements and what all that stuff means at exactly the right time. And it's not like just a memorization, like scene for scene of like what he did. He recreated that himself.
You know what this is? This is his Mission Impossible. So you know how Mission Impossible, every Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise has to learn a new skill, just because not because he needs to, because he wants to. He has to learn a new extreme sport skill so he can do it on screen and be like, "Oh, I did this in real life." This is this
The
is what
same thing.
Bradley Cooper does.
That's what
Like
Bradley Cooper
one,
does.
what
Yeah.
was that movie with Lady Gaga that he did?
Oh,
Stars Born.
yeah.
Like where he learned how to sing because he'd never
Yes.
sung before. He learned how
Yes.
to sing and he learned how to play the
And
guitar.
play the guitar and stuff. It took him a bit to do that.
Which, yes, and I'm like, this is just his thing. Like he has to do it to say that he did it. Like this is, bro, 6 years for 6 minutes. Again,
So this
six
guy knows
years.
how to conduct an orchestra and he knows how to
You
shoot
didn't
like
need
a
to.
Navy SEAL sniper. That's a
You
very
didn't need
wide
to.
array of skills, if you ask me.
You don't need to. You don't. Why, bro? 6 years for 6 minutes. Like, okay. Full disclosure, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know much about
He
Leonard
does a great job,
Bernstein.
by the way.
I don't doubt it. He's a good director. But 6 years for 6 minutes, like, come on, bro. This is like when actors come on go on Jimmy Kimmel and be like, yeah, I'm like 3% body fat to do this action movie. You're lying. If you know how the anatomy works, you're lying. You're not 3% body fat, okay? You don't know how the anatomy
Unless you're
works.
Christian Bale in The Machinist, where he was negative 25% body
Okay,
fat.
yeah. If Christian Bell tells you that he's negative, that he's 3% body fat, believe that dude, all right? Because he's not lying. But every other actor, actress is, oh yeah, man, I put on 50 pounds of muscle and I'm 3%, body fat. You're lying. Stop. You're lying.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bradley Cooper, you might not be lying. It might have taken you 6 years to learn how to conduct, but why? it's like it's like
Good
Laurence
for him.
Olivier. I think
Good
it's like
for him.
Laurence Olivier, bro. Like he said, it's called acting. Why don't you try it? Bradley Cooper. It's called acting. Why don't you try it? Like it's 6 minutes of music that's not going to change because you want to stay faithful to the music. You're not going to change the musical track. So all you had to do was memorize his movements. 6 years for 6 minutes. Get your
How
shit
would you
and
feel
go.
as an actor not knowing what you're doing, but you're trying to recreate it?
I would have watched him and recreated his movements. I would
Yeah,
have took
but
the
you
video.
don't know what those movements mean. That's the
Well,
issue.
I kind of do because I grew up in music, but like I used
No,
to
I'm
be able to
saying
read
as
music.
Bradley
I
Cooper,
lost that.
like you want to memorize movements. Let's just say I did it. If you had no skill, how would you feel about recreating everything and not knowing a dang thing what any of those movements meant?
So Bradley Cooper is a great actor and a great director. So he knows beats. Like he knows actor beats. Like he knows once this is said, you got to move here. Once this is inflected, you got to do this, whatever. So he can follow beats and maybe not rhythm. Well, no, he could follow rhythm. He learned how to play and sing, so he
Mm-hmm.
knows rhythm and beats. He could have done that so easily, bro. Like, bro, this is ridiculous. Like, when are we gonna stop? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, when these actors do these things, like Tom Cruise is different because he just likes to do extreme stuff. If Tom Cruise wasn't an actor, he would be doing this stuff anyway. Like, the dude knows how to fly fighter jet planes. No one told him to do that. All right, he just likes to do extreme stuff. But
Or literally jumping off a mountain and skydiving off with a motorcycle in the Mission Impossible
yes,
scene. He did that like himself, which is
he
insane to me.
Tom Cruise likes to do all this stuff, and he just made a career out of it. That's it.
And he
But
happens to be a good actor.
yes, but Bradley Cooper, no, bro. Like, why? Like, I can understand doing the training uh for American Sniper, like, because soldiers move. You know this. Soldiers move a certain way. Soldiers, when they look a certain way. Like I've talked to veterans, I've sat with veterans, like they're surveying stuff while you're talking to them. It's like a different kind of person, you know. And I can understand learning music, doing the training and learning the music, like you said. It took them like a year to do this. 6 years for 6 minutes, my dude. Like, come on, bro. How many times did he conduct in this movie? Because I haven't seen it. I know it's like 2 hours,
5 times? Six
five
times?
times. Were they long scenes? Like the one scene is 6 minutes.
Yeah,
Were they
some of
long
them are
scenes?
long.
Bro, I was gonna say, I'm not trying to put down conductors, all right? But bro, this is what you're doing. Da-da-da. Like I'm not saying I'm
But
a
you're
world class
interpreting the
conductor.
music. So here's the thing, like it was told to me was that it's their job. Everyone can read the music. It's your job to interpret how the music is going to be played. And
Yeah, I
that's a
know.
whole different thing.
Because I was on choirs. I was
Yes,
on bands. Like I understand the person who's directing you is dictating the tempo, the pace,
everything.
when you hit that mark and everything, how
And
hard you hit it.
when you raise, when all of it.
Exactly, bro. Like I get that. I've played music, I've sung, I get it. 6 minutes, 6 years for 6 minutes. Stop the
I
BS.
think it's probably because he's playing one of the greatest composers ever that it doesn't help. You get what I'm saying? Like he's playing like the guy. It's
Bro. Bro, like I'm gonna say something facetious right now.
oh,
Like, me, I'm a movie guy, so when I think of composers, I'm thinking like John Williams, Hans Zimmer, you know, people like that, Alan Silvestri. Bro, everybody I just named is a white guy. But if I was hired to play an interpretation of them, it wouldn't take me 6 years to recreate their conducting. All right, it wouldn't take me 6 years to recreate 6 minutes of John Williams conducting. I'm just keep it a buck. All right, like, let's
one
be
quick
honest,
question
bro.
before we move to the next movie. So people had an issue with his prosthetic nose
Hmm.
because Leonard Bernstein had a very profound
Okay.
nose. People had an issue with it. His family did it. Why do people always have the need to have a problem with something and vocalize it over something so simple like this?
This is a good question. So, in situations like this, because this has happened before, I believe you go with the family, right? Um, that movie with Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen, Green Book,
Oh,
um,
yes.
that was controversial too because it went against the family as opposed to going with the family. There's a little movie that came out on VH1 or MTV. It was about the life of Aaliyah. That movie went against the family as opposed to going with the family. I feel like in these instances, you go with the estate, you go with the family, and his family was cool with it. So I've seen pictures from articles that were against the prosthetic, and I was like, okay, I can see why they may be mad. And then I've seen pictures of articles for the prosthetic, and I'm like, yo, that looks like him with the prosthetic.
Exactly. You
So,
need to look like him. Like here, you see Leonard. You're like, okay,
mm,
you can't. He has distinguishable features. Recreate it. Who cares? And like, look, it is what it is. Like I don't know how else to really put it. It's and
it's
people are trying to
ridiculous.
make it into an anti-Semitic thing with Jews and big noses. Like, stop, 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 stop. Okay, like
And I was just about to say that too. Like, this is people creating problems that aren't there. Like I said, I saw articles first against the nose that made me go, oh, maybe that's a problem. But they chose
it's not a problem.
pictures of Leonard
Yes,
Bernstein that his nose looked different with the lighting and stuff. But
yeah,
if you actually look at Leonard Bernstein, I'm like, oh, Bradley Cooper looks more like him with the prosthetics.
yes.
Like they
He
just
looks
picked
like him.
pictures.
It's kind of uncanny how much he looks like him, and it works for
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's face. It's not like it's this giant thing, right? Like it's just a
Hmm.
little. He had to do his ears too, man. Like it's the same thing. Like
Like honestly, I think that's cool. Like I've acted before. Obviously, like I like when you have to put on the makeup, the prosthetic, or whatever to look like a character. It helps you get
it
into
didn't
character.
prevent Leonard from not getting trimmed, dude, because that dude was busy with guys and girls and all that, and he got with all the famous actors and actresses. Then, like he was the guy, like guys, and he went with everyone. I was like, dude, good for you. You know,
So to your point, I agree. It's ridiculous. It's people putting an agenda on something because I also saw those same people who had a problem with the nose saying it should have went to a Jewish actor. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Ian
what are we
McKellen said
doing
the
here?
same thing with gay actors, right? Like, if there's a gay part you're playing, that's not solely reserved for someone who's gay. End of story.
Thank
All
you.
right. Same with Bernstein. There's not enough guys who can look like him and act and do the part, right? That is Jewish. Like, that's just how it is. Like, who cares? Like, the whole point of
It,
acting is being something you're not.
thank you. Like,
So
it doesn't matter even if there
it's
were
not
people.
blackface. It's not like he's Robert Downey Jr. in
No, it's
Tropic
not.
Thunder, right? Like, it's nothing like
No. And even and even that movie Tropic Thunder, it was for a
that.
purpose. It was supposed to put
I
a
know it
mirror
was,
up on the
but I'm
inside.
saying his character in the movie where he went all his way to like be black was
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, you're talking about the character.
the
Yeah,
character himself, not him being the character, but the character
yeah,
himself, because he was an actor who was like, "What do you mean, you people?" And he was like trying to make it seems like, "Look,
yeah.
our people suffered for so long when they heard the N word." I'm like, dude, you're not black. Like you
I know. But there are actors out there, some of them even take 6 years to. Side, no, I'm just kidding. But
you'll like it. Here's the
like,
thing: you'll like it. You'll appreciate it, and I think this might be the year Bradley wins his Oscar, dude.
I know I'm gonna like it, yo. He's a dope director. I just think he's a little ridiculous in real life. But I think it's ridiculous. Like the family's cool with it. His blood relatives are
His
cool with
kids,
it.
by the way.
His kids. We're talking about Leonard Bernstein's. Then everybody else, shut the f up. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. It's their father. It's their grandfather. They're cool with it. Shut up. Stop trying to put your agenda on Bradley Cooper and everybody just because he's not Jewish. Stop trying to put your agenda. It's
Well,
fine.
it is what it
It's
is. Who
he's an
cares?
actor. It's a part. You
Yeah, and
like get over it, bro.
it's always people who aren't Jewish who are bringing up the issues.
Like
By the
it's
way, stop
the
speaking
Bob Marley
for
movie's coming out
yeah.
soon. Like no one, like the dude playing him, Ben Adair Kingsley, is British. No one cares. He's playing a part. Stop the BS. Like, come on, bro. Stop, bro. It's
All
ridiculous.
right. So that aside, you'll like it. I know you'll like it. I just want to briefly talk to you about Past Lives because I know you'll love this. Past Lives to me is probably one of the greatest foreign movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
This is remember how I told you should watch Scenes of a Marriage? Oscar Isaac and
Yes.
Jessica Chastain.
One of the
And
greatest shows ever,
okay,
miniseries
it's
ever.
like that,
Period.
but it's Korean drama, but it's half in Korean, half in English because it's a Korean immigrant moving to the Canada, then moving to the US. It just shows her life of, you know, how she gets from there to the US and is a successful journalist in New York. Her childhood crush and first love visits her 25 years later in the US when she's already married and she's just dealing with conflicting feelings of this and he does not
Yeah.
speak any English. Dude, it is so well done. Like you have to see it.
So I've only heard about this movie by name. I don't know anything about it. I just looked it up. This is the first pictures I'm seeing of it. A24, of course. They
A24.
can't
Dude, what
miss.
is up with them? They're all over the place.
I just watched like a couple weeks ago a full like whole documentary about them. I'm like, that's why they be winning, bro. But
I don't know anything about them. I thought they were small budget, small project films, but man, how they're knocking out these home runs, man. It's insane.
yeah, man, and so yeah, I just keep hearing past lives. I don't know anything about it until now when I just looked it up. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, it looks dope. Greta Lee's in it. I've seen her in other stuff, and mainly New Girl for that one episode or two episodes. But yeah, man, it looks good. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Directed and written by Celine Song. Um,
She did a fantastic job. This is roughly about her personal life too, like her.
mm,
So this says the Taeo Yu, the main protagonist, Korean actor. God, dude,
mhm.
he doesn't even need to speak English to know he's a good actor. Like that dude's phenomenal.
I don't know too much about Korea, but it seems like
They're bringing out
they
some
do
good
the
stuff,
same
dude.
thing. They do the same thing that it seems like they do the same thing that Britain does, where they put the arts and they consider the arts high esteem. They fund the hell out of it. So that's why they keep coming up with great movies, great actors. That might be why. But Korea doesn't seem to miss, bro. I don't know, man. Like I saw, I've been meaning to talk about this for like 2 months now. I watched this while I was on vacation. I watched this Korean show. I just had to.
We
dad
talked
brain
about it
fart.
too offline. I remember you talking about it because we talked about
The
Korean shows
boxing
and how they've
show,
just gotten.
Bloodhound, Bloodhound,
Because we
bro.
talked about Parasite too.
Parasite, yes, and but this show Bloodhound, I recommend the hell out of this Korean show, and it's about these two boxers who get um get in deep with these scammers. And it's just a show. Even if you don't like subtitles, put on the dub. I watched it in both sub and dub, and bro, it's just about the camaraderie of like friendship and togetherness and perseverance. And it also has these awesome ass action scenes with these guys fighting. It's dope as hell. It has so much heart in it, and like these two friends, like you're just rooting for them. And also, it doesn't Americanize it. Like it gets gritty when it gets gritty, and it's not just about these two guys. It's about a whole bunch of people. But I will say, spoiler alert, not really a spoiler alert. People be dying. All right, so like it does not pull its punches, but it also gives you so much hope, so much heart. Check it out, Korea. Man, Korea don't be missing, bro. My aunt be telling me about some of these shows. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna check this out, man.
Yeah,
Um,
they're starting to do. I think Squid Games kind of put it on the map, right? Because it's just
mhm.
so historically cheesy for so long, but now like it's cars, well made, quality cars. I'm
Bro, I got a recommendation for you. If you
mm,
like past lives, I'm gonna give you a recommendation to another A24 joint. I don't think this is Korean. I think it's Chinese, but it's called the Farewell, and it's another movie written and directed by a an Asian woman named
you said
Lulu
it's a
Wang.
movie.
Yes, came
Farewell.
out in 27 no 2019.
Okay.
It's actually on Netflix. I'm about to rewatch it. It's it's based on her life. Aquafina stars as her, and Aquafina really surprised me in this movie because she's playing a dramatic role, and I think she nails it. And it's about how in their culture, they don't tell their elderly that they're dying. They just go on as is. And she's an American Asian woman. Like she was born in America. I mean, she grew up in America, so she feels differently about death. She wants to tell her grandmother that she's going to die, but everyone telling her no, and she's struggling with
Hmm.
this. And in their culture, they think it's like a good thing, like we're giving them a good farewell. But she's like, "Grandma, I just want to tell you." Da, da, da. So she struggles with that. Like it's a great movie. A24 too.
I'll give it a
A24.
shot. Farewell. I want to finish watching Pachinko, which has been great. I've
Oh,
slowly
what's that?
watched it because it's really just tough for me to. I feel for a lot of the characters in there, so it's like it's very emotional for you know.
Mm-hmm.
Pachinko is a very well done show. I think it's on Apple
Pachinko,
TV.
Pachinko. Let me see
Um,
what that is.
it's three. It takes place of three different generations of um, and it's like the first generation's dealing with like the fallout of the Japanese invasion, you know, and then it's like the next generation's like them
Okay.
getting out. Yeah, dude, getting out of everywhere where
Oh
they
yes,
wanted. It's very
yeah, it's
well
a
it's very
Korean
well
show.
done.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV. That
Tell me
reminds
about so
me.
once you watch Past Lives, I definitely want your take on it and
Yeah,
my
did it come out in theaters or I didn't really hear it? I've only
no
heard about this by mouth.
yeah. I don't
Past
know.
lives.
I just streamed it recently, and it's two movies I want to see. Blackberry. I want to see Blackberry.
I don't know what that is.
That's about making the BlackBerry, you know, the
Oh,
first
word!
smartphone,
I've always wanted a BlackBerry.
and the Ferrari movie, my boy Adam Driver.
Oh yeah, I want to see the Ferrari movie just because it's Michael Mann. You know, I'm a Michael Mann
Dude,
fan.
Adam Driver kills everything he's in. Tell me one movie where it was bad because it was him.
Now, even Episode 8, Star Wars Episode 8, he carried that movie even though it was trash.
You saw that marriage movie, Scarlett Johansson, right? And
No,
him. Oh,
no.
dude, he got nominated for an Oscar for that. So well done. You have to see
I
that.
was going to watch it, after what's that Oscar Isaac show we was just talking about? But that
Oh,
show destroyed me.
all
Seeds of
right.
a
So
Marriage.
here, just to get out of the way, because Past Lives is going to destroy you in the same way as
All
Scenes
right,
from a Marriage.
I'm gonna make a
Watch them
list.
back to back just to get out of the way, just so you can get that emotional craziness out of the way because they're both the same. It's like, dude, like why is it toy? I don't understand about romantic dramas last few years, but these guys who are dropping them have been killing it.
Right.
Because I had my reservations on Scenes from a Marriage, dude, but I'm like, oh, it, it traumatizes the wrong word, but it's along the lines where it's like messed me up, like watching Passion, where it gives you an emotional response, and if you're a man or a woman, husband, wife, whatever, you're going to align with the side that you identify as. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I mean, I watched Scenes of a Marriage, and I'm watching this like, I'm like, this is how it would have been if I had married my last ex. And I think I text you too.
Yeah.
I was like, because you knew my last ex,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, bro, this is how it would have been. Yeah, I did text you if I had married
Mm-hmm.
such and such, and you was like, oh yeah, like, because that's what she did to me.
I mean, look,
Like,
that's
so
how that's how it was with my like relationship too in the beginning as well. Like, and I felt it right because it's just so many different things. And I mean, obviously, we're not like that now, but when we're stupid in our 20s and just thinking that we could be emotional punching bags, right? And you're like, dang, dude, like I felt every moment of it. You know what I mean? But
right, I feel you, bro.
yeah. So be
I felt
be
that
be
shit
be
too. I
ready
was like,
for the past lives one.
remind me again the name of the show, Past Lives and what? I mean the movie,
Past lives and what the marriage
the
movie with
Adam
Adam
Driver.
Driver.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now.
because I'm literally making a list right now.
I think it's just called
Literally.
Marriage.
Oh,
Marriage
marriage,
Story.
marriage story.
Scarlett
Let me check
Johansson's
that out
his wife in there.
and check out the farewell
All right, I'm gonna watch that today.
while you have,
Actually, I'll watch it this evening.
because it made me think about my grandmother who was very dear to me when
So
she
is mine.
passed, and that's why I got with that last ex because I was going through stuff. But I was like, damn, could I if I knew my grandmother was going to die, would I have told her? And there's a little piece of trivia I want to tell you about the farewell, but I can't tell you until you've watched the movie.
Why?
So once you watch it, let me know, and I'll be like, dot dot dot. But
Text me the
yeah, man,
trivia at like anytime your time this evening. I'm literally gonna watch it. Excuse me, right after this.
dope, dope, dope. Yeah, I can't wait to see Past Lives and Marriage Story. I think that's a Netflix movie,
It is.
but so it should be on there. But I didn't even know this Blackberry movie was coming out, man. Like
Yeah,
I
dude. Glenn
remember, I
Howerton, the
always
guy
wanted one.
from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, dude, is getting some big time buzz. Him and Robert
Oh,
Downey
yeah.
Jr. were just nominated for like one of those like indie movie awards,
Mm,
and they were the only two nominated for it. I was like, but this is like, it's like if you get nominated for this, you are probably going to get nominated for an Oscar. But it's just
mm.
funny how comedians just go in and just kill these parts, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, man. And I forgot why I wanted to talk to you about it. But something about comedians, man. The way they see the world, like to be a comedian, you have to have the eye. Like you have to have this perspective on life and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
comedians, great comedians can make great dramatic actors. We see it all the time. I mean, Eddie Murphy, Adam Sandler, you know, we just see the ones who get out of their own way and they get the chance that they always wanted because some of them get
Matthew
stuck in the
McConaughey.
same character.
He
Oh, he
did
was
those
a
rom coms for so long.
oh really? You know, Michael Keaton was a stand up too. Michael Keaton,
Really,
yeah, didn't he win an Oscar for
dude. Yeah, for Birdman.
Birdman?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was a stand up comic too, man. But yeah, it's something about the way they see the world to where they can dig into a character and pull out those emotions and just
Robin
go
Williams was
for it.
really good at that too. How many
Oh
Oscars did he
yeah,
win? You know,
Robin Williams was a beast, bro. Beast.
no, it's because when you see things that are funny, like the lens that you have, that's not something you're born with. You go through some really deep
Yeah,
self-perspective traumatic things that you think you overcome. Most of the time you don't, and that's why they either kill themselves or overdose or whatever it is, because it's a
sadly,
tortured
yeah.
individual that can turn something into humor like that. And then
Hmm.
all you have to do is just you they're just taking that humor energy and they're just placing it in a place for them that they can actually act instead. Dude, it's fascinating to watch. Like that's why you see, like, I mean, how many of these comedians, like, they die early, you know?
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad, bro. But if they get that chance that they get, that true chance to really show what they're worth, they knock it out the park, man.
Who
Like,
else is a big time comedian that's translated well into like real acting?
Steve Martin,
Yeah.
um, Jim Carrey, great dramatic actor.
Jamie
Uh,
Foxx, by the way.
Jamie Foxx, yes, 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 Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, dude. Jamie Foxx was is
He's like a phenom, bro. He's a force. Sings, acts, comedian, action star, still to this day. I mean, Night Shift on Netflix, where he's a vampire hunter. I've watched that maybe 4 times. I love that movie. Directed by J.J. Perry, who was um, a stuntman, then a stunt coordinator, and became a director. Bro, check that joint out, man.
Do you think? What about Owen Wilson?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I think Owen
Another tortured
Wilson.
soul too.
What about Mark Wahlberg, dude?
He wasn't a comedian though.
But he kind of went into that, like, to break the.
I mean, yeah, he actually started out dramatic though. Remember?
What did he start as?
Wasn't a Boogie Nights his first thing?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, like that. I think that was his first big breakout thing. I don't know because I know he was Marky Mark first, and he was
Yeah,
doing
he was a
music.
singer and a model first.
Yeah,
Um.
but
Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
but that was a dramatic role. From what I haven't seen it, but from what I heard, that was a dramatic role. But yeah,
Philip Seymour Hoffman kind of did both for a while too.
yeah, he was in rom coms too, and then he just like he became one of the greatest actors of our generation, or maybe the generation before us. I don't know, but like, he became one of the
And
greatest
then
actors
OD'd on
ever.
heroin.
Oh, jeez. So who knows what inner demons he was dealing with? Because man, that guy is a force. Anytime he was on screen, I mean, if you look back, I was introduced to him through Mission Impossible 3, but I didn't realize I seen him in other stuff before that. And Mission Impossible 3, if you look at the the bare minimum of his role, he didn't really have much to work with. But man, when he was on screen, bro,
Dude, Along
like
Came
that.
Polly, dude, was great.
Every time I talk about Phil Seymour Hoffman, you bring up Along Came
you, how ridiculous is he in that though?
Pretty ridiculous. I mean, that's another guy who has crazy range. I feel like Vincent D'Onofrio is the same way. You know, like dude's range is
Alec Baldwin.
crazy. Alec Alec Ball Alec Baldwin, who later in his life became like that almost kind of like a RDJ kind of character, comedic character because of 30
His
Rock.
condescending nature is just so funny.
I mean, the dude played Jesus. Thomas Jefferson and Harriet Tubman in 30 Rock. Like, and I loved every single minute of played Tracy Jordan's dad and everything. Like, he played everything. And then he played three different versions of himself, one in the future, one in the past.
What about
And then
Ryan
my favorite
Reynolds?
part,
What do you think?
Ryan Reynolds.
Because he's done
I,
nothing but a lot of quirky funnies, like
there was a movie in the early 2000s where he played a lawyer, and it was like a very dramatic role. There was two dramatic roles I remember him. That lawyer movie and the one where he was stuck in a box in the early 2000s. Like, he tried the dramatic thing, and it didn't really pan out.
Adam
And so,
Driver's good too, but he didn't start as a comedian, but he can do both very well.
yeah,
Have you ever seen the
you can.
movie "The Dead Don't Die" with Bill Murray?
Oh, I think I did. I think I didn't finish
They're
it.
like sheriffs in like a Pennsylvania town, and there's zombies that
Oh,
come out, and
yeah,
Danny
I think I didn't
Glover's in
finish
it,
it though.
Steve Buscemi,
Yeah, yeah. Did I finish that? I don't know,
Chloe
but yeah,
Sevigny is in there too.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
And then they comes to find out they were in a movie the whole time and they knew it. Like at the end, or like, so how's this going to end? It was like, we give it our best shot. He was like, oh yeah. He was like, he was like, so how do you know all of this stuff that's happening? He's like, oh, I read the script ahead of time. It's like, oh, I've known Bill Murray is best friends with the director. He's like, I've known him for 30 years, and you would think he would give me the script before he gave it to you, right? And then it's so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh,
Selena
man.
Gomez is in it too. There's
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of
she
people in
doesn't
it.
really do much anymore,
No.
except for that show on Hulu.
Oh yeah,
But that
Only Murders in the Building. That's a good show. Martin Short, dude. That's another guy, by the way.
that kid in Leave the World Behind, Charlie Evans, who plays the son, he actually reminded me of a young Adam Driver. I was like, he kind of looks like him, with the hair, and like, they kind of got the same body type. I was like, oh, he kind of looks like he could play a young Adam Driver or Adam Driver's son in a movie. Like,
Even though
oh,
Adam
that's dope.
Driver's like not much older than us.
Yeah, I know. But hey, he's old enough to have a kid. Oh well, that guy's too old to be. Yeah, okay, whatever.
You get what I'm saying? Like
But
he's only in his late
He's
30s, dude.
playing
Like what?
what? He's playing Ferrari right now. Who like
Yeah, he also
you
played
know?
Gucci.
Yeah, yeah. He also played Gucci. Like, so he could be older. It doesn't matter. He could put on the makeup and be older. But yeah, man. Let's wrap this up, man. This was another good one. My nomads. Moral of the story is go USA. No offense to anybody else, but go USA. We need more Rocky films. Be creative, my nomads. I hope you learned something. Peace.